Welcome to the future. PBS Digital.
Australia, not for the faint of heart. From the outback to the backyard, this is a continent that pulses with danger.
I can remember nothing. I felt nothing. I see nothing. Nothing at all that I have ever been bitten.
In the dappled forests and the quiet waters, they stalk the unsuspecting.
The unbelievable was happening. This crocodile was actually attacking my canoe.
Here, cut off from the rest of the world, are creatures with an astonishing arsenal of weapons: claws, spines, and venom. Poison that flows like the rivers, down to this fatal shore.
Major funding for nature is provided by the Park Foundation, dedicated to education and quality television. Major corporate support is made possible by Canon, dedicated to preserving the never-ending beauty of nature. Canon know-how lets you capture the wild in photographs and leave it as you found it. Canon know-how. Ford Motor Company. Some people work every day to make the world a better place. Ford Motor Company's Heroes for the Planet is a program developed to celebrate them and all the good that they do. And by TIAA-CREF, a long-time provider of products and services to support everyone's ever-expanding financial needs. TIAA-CREF, ensuring the future for those who shape it. This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Another beautiful afternoon in Australia, and the people of an island nation take to the waves. But they're not alone. Surfers aren't the only ones looking to do a little shredding. Sharks, the great hunters of the sea. The jaws of a great white shark can puncture steel. Human flesh takes almost no effort at all. Yet for most Australians, the real danger lurks not in the ocean, but a lot closer to home. This is no ordinary spider. It's the Sydney funnel web. On a hot afternoon, it's attracted by the cool waters of a swimming pool. By trapping air, it can survive immersion for up to 30 hours. and its bite can kill a child in 15 minutes. Long before humans arrived on this island continent, they were already here, a remarkable assortment of deadly animals armed with fangs and toxins. As today's Australians build upon this ground, they encounter them thousands of times each year. In the home, on the streets, they are all around. Unseen assassins. Tiny killers. But how and why are they here? Like so many things in Australia, the story begins at the water's edge, the boundary between civilization and the wild. Each day as the tide pulls out, it leaves behind a string of rock pools, tiny worlds packed with treasures. It all looks innocent enough, but hidden among the rocks is a killer, a blue-ringed octopus. It may be small enough to hold in your hand, but don't. There's no known antidote to its venom.
The venom is actually injected through a small beak in the centre of the animal between the legs. And this beak is attached to a salivary gland which contains the venom, which is a very fast-acting, nerve-acting venom, which basically does cause respiratory failure, and that is the main cause of death in people that do get bitten.
The blue-ringed octopus is a tiny animal that finds itself locked in combat with larger, more fearsome foes, like crabs and other crustaceans. Confronting the hard shell and powerful claw of a crab might seem an unfair contest for the soft-bodied octopus, but to even the odds, the octopus has poison. The blue ring pinions its prey, bites off an eye stalk, and injects venom. Paralysis sets in almost immediately. Enzymes in the poison break down the body of the prey, liquefying it, turning muscles and organs into a kind of soup, which the octopus slurps up at its leisure. Lethal as the blue ring is, it doesn't strike without warning. In fact, it advertises its toxicity with vivid colors. The bright blue circles are produced by hundreds of color sacs called chromatophores, activated when the octopus is threatened. A flashing signal of a double menace.
This animal can use two different types of venom. The one that it actually uses against its prey items, such as crabs and crustaceans like that, is actually quite harmless against us. Yet it also has the ability to use a different venom in defence, which is very, very damaging to us, which we should steer clear of. So these two types of venoms are completely different in the way they act upon the animals they're intended for, and instinctively the blue ring actually knows when to inject the venom, whether it's to feed or to defend itself.
Yet there is a surprisingly gentle side to this poisonous animal. The mother blue ring guards her eggs by embracing them until they hatch. No other octopus does this. Of course, she's nurturing a new generation of killers. Her young inherit the bacteria which produces the venom. Emerging from the egg, they're already little assassins, quite able to look after themselves. Her work done, the mother dies, at the ripe old age of 7 months. The blue ring isn't the only creature passing venom down through the generations in Australia's waters. Welcome to the Great Barrier Reef, the largest, most abundant coral reef in the world. It's an undersea rainforest, and at its heart, coral. Vast colonies of tiny animals, living rock. Lovely as it is, this is one of the deadliest environments on the planet, an entire ecosystem of poison. Many of the creatures here are poisonous. They have to be, just to stay even in this aquatic arms race. For poison is the weapon of choice for creatures without jaws or claws. Here's how it works. Each tentacle is highly sensitive. On its surface, not hairs, but stinging cells. When touched, they fire. Each cell contains a stiletto-sharp tube that can be discharged in a fraction of a second. They shoot out in a barrage. Tiny harpoons. Microscopic switchblades. Needles with a lethal dose. Once the victim is snagged, venom flows out through the tip. The prey don't have a chance. This method is so successful, it's found all across the reef. And not just in the coral. The flamboyant lionfish delivers venom through the poisonous spines on its feathered fins. Well armed as it is, it doesn't hesitate to flaunt itself in open water. There's no mistaking the armory of the spiny sea urchin. Tips of giant needles break off and embed in the flesh, causing burning pain and infection. Still more dangerous is the flower urchin. Each of its little flowers contains a toxic dose of venom. Each can deliver muscular paralysis and respiratory failure as it hides away among the stones. Of all the secretive, solitary creatures on the ocean's floor, the cone snail may have the most complex biological weapon, a lethal cocktail made up of hundreds of chemicals. Like the coral, it too uses a guided missile system. Its tentacle entices the fish in. It looks like something interesting to eat. Its dart flooded with venom, it lines up its prey. Then reels the fish in. Paralysis is almost instantaneous. The mouth extends to swallow the victim whole. The venom has to be quick, because a cone snail could never chase a fast-moving fish. In fact, the neurotoxin is so effective, it can stop a human heart in 10 minutes. Out on the reef, the most poisonous fish of all is the stonefish. If threatened, it delivers venom with explosive force from its protective spines. Yet it and its cousin, the scorpion fish, don't rely on poison to hunt. Just a little camouflage. This is one of the great ironies of the reef. Even fearsome-looking creatures like the stingray, with vicious barbs in their tails, are, like most poisonous animals, not aggressive, unless threatened. In fact, the rays are social and inquisitive by nature. They just have the venom, whether they need it or not. For swimmers, this is a scarier sight. Jellyfish, the stinging water, the most poisonous flotilla on Earth. Like undersea aliens, they hover on the current. 99% liquid, 1% organic matter. All nervous system and no brain. Yet their barbed tentacles trail below, a living fishing net of poison, feeling the water for prey. The Portuguese man-of-war may look like an innocent blue balloon with yards of ribbon trailing behind it, but make no mistake. The sting from these tentacles can cause severe abdominal pains and even death. And this is the one to really avoid, the box jellyfish, one of the deadliest creatures in the world. It's a squarish lump of jelly with 15 tentacles in each corner. A strong swimmer, a powerful hunter, it snatches fish up with its tentacles, then draws them into its writhing maw, where they are consumed and digested. Each year, box jellies appear from nowhere and swarm onto Australia's beaches. Jamie Seymour is a marine biologist trying to solve the mystery of where they come from and why they arrive so suddenly.
All right.
He's learned how to handle them very carefully.
You can actually see a complete fish sitting in there. This one's partially digested, so it's been doing its thing. Now if you flip it on the inside, I mean, so the mouth hangs down through here on the end of this tube. The tentacles pick up the food, stuff it in the mouth, moves up the mouth through the gullet and into one of these 4 stomachs. So you can see there's 1, 2, possibly 3 fish in here. As they get, when they're small, they feed on little tiny shrimp. When they're larger like that, they start to feed on the bigger fish.
Seymour injects a tiny numbered tag into the jellyfish, taking care not to damage the animal. With this tag, he can track its route and discover more about the complicated life cycle of this dangerous creature.
Yep.
A tiny radio transmitter completes the job.
I just want to put him in the water. I want to see what all tags done. Beautiful. Hey, look, he's swimming too.
It's great.
Despite the dangers, Australians keep coming down to the sea. You can't keep them away. At peak times, nets are deployed to make sure the beaches are safe. The status of the swarm is posted daily. But even the best efforts can't protect those who swim out beyond the nets, out where the jellyfish wait. They're tempting fate, risking a first-hand experience of what makes these creatures so painful. Thousands of stinging cells, called nematocysts, Each cell contains a tightly coiled harpoon with vicious little barbs. On contact, they're fired with violent force. And struggling just stimulates the firing of more nematocysts. For the unlucky victim, it's agonizing.
The weather conditions at the moment are perfect for the jellyfish, and so we see people at this time of year. The box jellyfish mainly causes extreme pain, and usually the person, as soon as they're stung, are in extreme pain, and they may develop cardiac problems and even have a cardiac arrest. And this usually happens in the water or on the beach, as the venom is injected directly into the bloodstream by the stinging apparatus, the nematocyst.
Of course, all the dangers don't lie along the shore. Further inland, where the waters run shallow and still, there are other perils. Like crocodiles. These ancient killers have been around for 200 million years, stalking the swamps and the billabongs. Each year, when the dry season comes, those who drink do so at their own risk. Of all the crocodiles, the saltwater croc is the largest, 20 feet of bone-crushing carnivore with a nasty disposition. In the wild, they can go without food for months, but not if they don't have to. When death comes for the wallaby, it isn't gentle. Sounds of the struggle attract other crocs. Stealing food is always easier than catching it. A new battle begins. Inevitably, the strongest croc wins. It's a meal to last for weeks. But it's not just wallabies these saltwater crocs are hunting. They're also man-eaters.
Something about the stick drew my attention. It was that it suddenly seemed to develop eyes as I came closer to it, and I realised, in fact, it was a crocodile.
Dr. Val Plumwood was on a canoeing trip in rural Australia.
I don't recall taking any evasive action, but it seemed in no time at all my canoe and the crocodile were adjacent to one another. The next thing I felt was a great clank on the side of the canoe. The unbelievable was happening. This crocodile was actually attacking my canoe. It had me right between the legs. Right between the legs. There was another roll. And then it just seemed to relax and let me go.
Val Plumwood had a lucky escape. But such incidents are in fact rare. Crocs have only attacked 60 people in the last 100 years. More than half have survived. Ironically, in the backwoods of Australia, when the real dangers show up, they don't have teeth. In the forest, you're more likely to be attacked by a plant than a predator. This is the biggest stinging nettle in the world. It's a tree with poison spikes, a tree that actually stings. Its leaves are easily recognized. They bristle with fine silica needles, needles so brittle they break off with the slightest impact. And once lodged in the skin, they deliver a potent concoction. The resulting pain is so intense, so excruciating, the shock alone can kill. Yet even these killers have an Achilles heel, or leaf. Little caterpillars and stink bugs have figured out how to get through the deadly defense system and nibble on the foliage. A change in the weather brings another menace crawling out of the backwoods, a funnel web spider. An 8-legged killer with a lethal nerve poison that can induce muscle spasms and paralytic fits.
At first I thought it was a Christmas beetle, but on looking at my finger it was a spider, and I shook my hand, it wouldn't come off. It had bitten me twice, and I ran out of the laundry, and by this stage my son had knocked it off my finger, and my husband said, "Go and sit down, it's a funnel web." By the time I'd got into hospital, I was in a latherous sweat, all tingly around the mouth, making heaps of saliva. At this stage they'd given me several shots of the anti-venom, and had it not been for the anti-venom, I wouldn't be here talking about my experience, which, talking about it, I get into a panic in that because I'm reliving it.
Dr. Robert Raven is one of the few Australians who go looking for funnel webs. In the dark of night, he follows them right into their lairs, studying the way they hide, the way they attack, the way they kill.
There are about 40 different species of funnel web in Australia. In this area there are about 3. And in order to figure out which one there are, we have to get the spider out without damaging the area or the spider. If we can do that by putting a beetle in, we can get fishing for funnel webs.
And when it comes out, we see the spider and we can tell whether it's a male or a female and what sort of state it's in, good condition, without actually having to dig the burrow up, which is quite a disruptive process, certainly on the rock wall, but also on the spider.
Slowly, carefully, the elusive funnel web is drawn out into the open. If this spider has developed a complex venom, it's to take on its favorite prey, millipedes, which just happen to have a poison of their own, hydrocyanide. To deliver its poison first, the funnel web specializes in sneak attacks. The best defense is a good offense. At the Australian Reptile Park near Sydney, lethal venom from the funnel webs is collected and studied by Brad Harvey.
What I have to do is I have to agitate the spider and get the spider to stand up on its back legs, rear the fangs forward and produce venom on the end of the fangs. Every year in Australia, 20 to 30 people get bitten by the Sydney funnel-web spider. If there were no anti-venom, those people would definitely die from those bites. Here we collect the spiders and we milk the spiders for the venom to make the anti-venom.
It took scientists nearly 20 years to identify the killer chemical and produce an antitoxin. It's remarkable that the tiny amount of venom designed for use against insects is so lethal to humans. But sometimes venom isn't the only problem.
The white-tailed spider has recently been implicated in a series of bites where a creeping ulceration has occurred. It was initially thought that the venom itself was causing these problems. Now the speculation is that it's actually a type of bacteria which may be present on the fangs of the spider when it inflicts the bite. It causes a very nasty decomposition of the skin, which at this stage doesn't have any treatment apart from skin grafts, which can be extremely painful.
I can remember nothing. I felt nothing. I see nothing. Nothing at all that I have ever been bitten.
Well, Mr. Hoffman's right arm was involved with necrosis or death of tissue, which involved about 50% of the right arm. And the area appeared to be as a burn would appear. It was white or blanched, bloodless, with full thickness death of tissue right down to the muscle.
When it comes to hospital visits, one spider takes the title most dangerous arachnid. In fact, it's responsible for more hospitalizations than any other creature in Australia. The redback spider. It's not big. It's just lethal. And worst of all, it likes to live exactly where people do. That's why this cousin of the black widow has so many victims.
The reason why the redback spider is so successful in Australia is because of the environment we've created for them. Basically, the redback spider builds a much more successful web on cement or concrete rather than on leaves or grass or sticks.
By the time a house here has a roof on it, it'll contain a redback.
So the average Australian house is a perfect environment for a redback spider. So given the opportunity, redbacks actively do search areas, and they will build a web on a paving stone that's found just outside our house rather than out in the bush.
In the garage or the basement, they take up residence. The redback's bite is intensely painful. Before the development of antivenom, it meant death. Even now, it sends hundreds to the emergency room each year, an average of more than one incident every day. Children are frequent victims.
I nearly caught that then.
And the problem is just getting worse.
Well, the female redback could build up to 8 egg sacs, and in each egg sac there could be between 100 and 150 hatchling spiders. And so that's an awful lot of spiders, and when they hatch, they climb to the high surface and they balloon. So they pretty much fly away and they can travel quite a number of kilometres. So because of that, they've got an ability to disperse across Australia and across other countries quite well.
These are the ultimate survivors. If there's no food around, they turn on each other. Even the spiderlings are cannibals. The adults are vulnerable to their own venom. One bite, and a relative can become the next meal. The killer injects through a kneecap. Digestive enzymes do the rest. The carcass is then literally sucked dry. We tend to think of poison in insects or reptiles, but there are venomous mammals. They are few and very strange. Like the duck-billed platypus. Why is the male platypus armed with venom? No one knows. It may be virtually blind and deaf underwater, but it needs no help tracking and catching prey, for it can sense the electricity of muscle movement. Perhaps the venom is used for competing against other males. Perhaps it's for mating. In the nuzzling of courtship, it's speculated that the venom might work as an aphrodisiac. But the female must be careful, for the male has a spur on each hind leg that can deliver a powerful, even deadly jolt. Scientists are still trying to understand how a warm-blooded mammal could be poisonous. For poison has always been the property of the cold-blooded. Australia is the land of the snake, home to some of the deadliest on the planet. In fact, a full third of the world's venomous serpents come from this one country. And when the moon comes out, the fangs meet the flesh. Deep in the outback, the walls of some caves are crawling with bats. More than 100,000 of them. Good hunting for a bat-catching snake. As the bats stream past, it casts around in the current like a lethal fishing rod. The snake throws a deadly coil around its victim, then dislocates its jaw and swallows the bat whole. One life disappearing inside another. There are 180 species of snake in Australia. 130 of them are poisonous.
I got bitten by a red-bellied black snake. The snake swung around, he grabbed a hold of my finger and he started chewing. So I knew straight away he'd put poison in because the effects straight away was like somebody pouring battery acid onto my finger. As soon as they took the bandage off my arm, I had the effects of the venom straight away, began to get quite nauseous. So they decided to give me the antivenin, the tiger snake antivenin, and that's when things got a lot worse. I lost all my senses, couldn't talk properly. I was trying to talk to people around me, lost my sight, a lot of pain throughout the body, which culminated in my heart actually nearly stopping beating. So they gave me an adrenaline injection straight into the heart to try and get my heart going again.
One of the deadliest is the Australian taipan.
This is the Australian taipan. This species is regarded quite rightly as one of the most dangerous in the whole world, and in Australia it's the subject of considerable venom research. Venom is required not only for anti-venom production but has some medical implications, and a number of research projects are underway at the moment. Now, the venom is squirted into the beaker. It's being forced there by the contraction of a muscle just around the venom gland, which is located behind the eye. That's the same as the way the venom would be squirted into a human bite victim.
The coastal taipan is doing particularly well in the wake of man's activity. The cane fields of Queensland produce a significant percentage of the world's sugar. They also produce taipans, lots of taipans, so encounters with workers are common. But it's not people the snakes are looking for. It's the rats that infest the cane fields. When it strikes, it delivers a hefty dose of venom, enough to stop a fast-moving rat in an instant. When paralysis sets in, the snake slowly engulfs the victim. Poisonous snakes live almost everywhere in Australia, even on remote wind-swept outposts like Chapel Island. In fact, this is an island overrun by snakes. In this case, the black tiger snake, a giant version of its mainland cousin. The tiger snake was once called Australia's most venomous reptile. Others have since laid claim to the title, but it's still deadly enough. Its prey? Mutton birds. They come here just once a year to breed. The other 10 months, the snake starves, living off its own body fat. In these few short weeks, it must feed for a whole year. The snake goes down into the burrows where the birds nest, looking for chicks. For both the snake and the hatchlings, survival is a race against time. The snake must strike while they're still young. The little birds just need a few short weeks to grow old enough to fly away. These won't get that chance. The first attack scares off the mother, and the snake can feast. The tiger snake must consume at least 8 chicks to survive the year. But that's no problem, with a bite that's 80 times more venomous than a rattlesnake's. Why are there so many poisonous serpents in Australia?
We have a very diverse continent with all sorts of opportunities for snakes, with niches of specialties, but Australia doesn't have necessarily a greater number of snakes. It's just that the colonizing snake fauna for our continent happen to be of the venomous elapid family. The snake with the most powerful venom in the world is the fierce snake. Not really a very appropriate name because it isn't particularly fierce, particularly in captivity. In fact, it very rarely accounts for a human bite, if ever. This snake is found only in the most remote corners of southwest Queensland and adjacent districts where people don't live. So whilst it has the venom most toxic in its effects on human beings, it doesn't account for any human fatalities. In fact, there are no known records of any bites other than snake handlers.
In the distant, desolate regions where the fierce snake lives, summer temperatures soar to well over 120 degrees. Some speculate that these harsh conditions may help create the extraordinary potency of its venom. As it tracks its prey across the hard, sun-cracked land, a single fierce snake has enough poison to kill 250,000 mice. Yet, in the deadly balance of the natural world, every hunter is also prey, and even this most lethal of snakes is also being stalked by the parenti, a giant monitor lizard, 6.5 feet long. Much of its prey hides from the sun, but the forked tongue picks up even the faintest traces of scent. The fierce snake hasn't hidden deep enough. Poisonous as it is, this bashing breaks its back and leaves it helpless. The fierce snake never even had a chance to use its deadly bite. It's just another meal for the parenti. In Australia, the trail of venom leads from the sea to the land and back out to sea again. It is here that the story takes a remarkable twist. In the realm of the sea snake, science is beginning to give us a whole new approach to the issue of poison, a brand new way of thinking about lethal venom.
Hey Glenn, there's one about 20 foot in front of you, straight ahead.
Glenn Burns is a marine biologist who has spent years working with sea snakes. He's an expert at collecting them, and he'll need all that expertise. Australia has some 30 species of sea snakes. All of them are highly venomous. One of the most common is the large olive sea snake. It's not aggressive. In fact, it's quite inquisitive. But it must be treated with respect, as it's the most virulent sea snake of all, 20 times more toxic than a cobra.
Got one! Hey! Good size one.
This is an olive. Apicius flavus. Ooh, look, a bit angry. Probably just about to shed its skin. As you see, not terribly agile out of the water, of course. Look at that. You can see down here at the base of the tail, there's a swelling there. That's the male. Right. Males are usually a little bit more sort of browny colour than the females too, and females are typically plain grey.
Burns is bringing the sea snake in to be measured, weighed, and inspected carefully.
Ooh, he's cranky.
Above all, it's the venom that's being studied. This snake's fangs may be relatively small, but its poison holds a world of secrets. Little known and little understood, it's the subject of intense research.
Look at that. That's a lethal dose.
The venom will be used in the search for an antidote. But that's just the start. Scientists are now beginning to discover that many toxins also have powerful medical effects. Today's lethal poison may just contain tomorrow's life-saving drugs. The potential is enormous. But the research is not for the faint-hearted. The only way to harvest thorn starfish is to gently coax them with your bare hands. A wrong move could lead to multiple agonizing punctures, shock, fainting, even drowning. And when it comes to corralling the blue ring octopus, there can be no mistakes. Its bite might not even be felt at first, yet without aid, it could well mean paralysis and death. Throughout Australia, the mysteries of these toxins are slowly being unraveled. Scientists and researchers are now out hunting the hunters, combing the backwoods to see exactly what their poisons can tell us. In labs across the country, lethal animals, from the platypus to the tiny cone snail, are being studied. Their venom analyzed. These toxic compounds, designed to home in on the central nervous system, are a natural starting point for new medicines. Already, chemicals from venom are being used to treat stroke victims and patients with chronic pain. Drugs for epilepsy, perhaps even cancer, may be next. And so the little killers that stalk Australia turn out to be much more. A test for our ingenuity to turn the thing we fear most into a new future. The promise of a poisoned land. There is a legend in Australia that this country was created by a snake, the rainbow serpent. Sinuous and beautiful, it carved the land and the winding coast, leaving behind a legacy of fear and hope.
To learn more about what you've seen on this nature program, visit PBS online at pbs.org or America Online keyword PBS. Next time on Nature, visit one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Grand Canyon, one of Mother Nature's most original designs. This nature program is available on home video cassette for $19.95 plus $4.95 shipping. To order, call 1-800-336-1917 or write to the address on your screen. Major funding for nature is provided by the Park Foundation, dedicated to education and quality television. Major corporate support is made possible by Canon, dedicated to preserving the never-ending beauty of nature. Canon know-how lets you capture the wild in photographs and leave it as you found it. Canon know-how. Ford Motor Company. Anyone who makes a difference in their community. Anyone who starts in their own backyard to make the world a better place. These people are heroes. Ford Motor Company's Heroes for the Planet. And by TIAA-CREF, a long-time provider of products and services to support everyone's ever-expanding financial needs. TIAA-CREF, ensuring the future for those who shape it. This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
This is PBS.
Somewhere over the rainbow, dreams really do come true. Ooh, I hear babies cry and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
A bird